Say the flame to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Lips BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Mike was muted the whole damn time.
Was it?
It's not supposed to do that.
Yours or ours?
The whole thing.
Was it?
Welcome, episode 110. Stupid shit.
Anyways, listen.
110 and we're still amateurs.
Right. So we
StreamYard's upgrade didn't you click scenes, it's supposed to unmute your mic and stuff like that.
All right,
I didn't do it.
So
we're back.
It's the program's fault, not ours.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm gonna start right where I began at the beginning 5 minutes ago. So we were just speaking about COVID, how like COVID changed like a whole bunch of things, the way we live, the way everything. And I was saying that COVID literally made me open my eyes and realize I was like, hold up, wait a minute, like what's going on here? Like, is the government giving me the right information, or have they always been lying to me?
Right.
Because what is going on right now? Like, why aren't you giving me the information that I need when I need it? What's going on here? That's when I was like, hey, time's clicking. This is my life. This is my kid's life. This is my family's life. What's going on here? Time's clicking. I feel like the little kid that has a little messed up hand, you know, but it was just like time's clicking, man. Like, and there's no answers. Like, where's the answers at?
Right.
That's when I was like, that's when I was like, government,
they were dividing
no good for me.
COVID was a big part of how we got divided. You had your left that wanted to listen to everything that they were told, the right that wanted to fight for their rights and say, no, I'm not going to mask up. No, you're not going to give me a jab.
Right.
And talked about what we talked about while we were muted was how, you know, we were talking about World War III, where it might be on the brink of World War III.
Yeah.
Well, COVID was used to help divide us. And, you know, there's a big theory a lot of us believe out there that other countries were help controlling this kind of stuff. It was all master plan to kind of try to start like us fighting ourselves amongst ourselves, kind of like a civil war to weaken us.
I don't even think remember though, I think it's not the countries. I think it's something using the countries as pawns.
Right. It's like what we talked about. It's like a game of Risk.
You know, the Illuminati, if you call it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
World powers. The NWO,
it's like the triangle they use. The
WHO. Yeah, whatever. They're all.
But for them to do that, they've got to overthrow. They got to overthrow the power that America is, and the only way they're going to do that was to divide us.
Sure.
Yeah,
and they're doing a great job. If you think about it, Vince, and if you don't even think about it, just look at it. Like, it's literally right in front of our faces. Like, it's like,
well, we're still divided.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're still dividing us. Like, they're dividing us. Like, there is no like, oh, this, that. Like, there's like, you don't have to go that far. You could be you could be right in your couch and just go on Facebook, and you could go on somebody's social media, go on somebody's page, and you can see how divided people are. Yeah. You know, like, I always keep going back to Facebook because it's like Facebook will tell you who you really are, no matter what. No matter what, you cannot hide anything, and you cannot tell me you are not this or you're not that. I could just look at your Facebook page, and that's it.
They use Facebook to divide us.
It's just so simple. Like, it's just.
What about Antifa? They hired organizations or whatever you want to call them, terrorists, to help divide us.
Right.
Yeah. Well, before we get into, I've got some videos here. There's some headlines, some drama in the government, but before we get going, if talking about America this and America that, and you know, we're facing increased prices when you're talking about getting your things from the store, where all the stuff comes from China, and there's problems in the area where major shipping lanes and stuff like that. But there's a solution. There's American companies that
no better time than
supply you that could supply you with American made, American produced, and American tested products. It's called shopwithamerica.us. Give them a check. Check them out. Shopwithamerica.us. I'm going to play their ad, and by supporting them, you're supporting us at the PPN, and it's a collaborative effort, you know, to increase American made and American sold products. So let's check out shopwithamerica.us.
About keeping the money here and the jobs here.
Welcome to Shop with America, where the emphasis is on America. Our movement is to switch away from your shopping with the big box stores and the mega corporations back to supporting family-owned, made in America. We've been giving these big box stores our money every day for years. But what's happened is they've forced many small businesses to shut down. We call this the illusion of choice. We see all these products in these stores, but in reality, it's only a few companies that control it all. There are thousands of lawsuits for health damage because they put profit over our people. But there is another choice. We found a better way. There's a family-owned American factory with product integrity and have always done things the right way for the right reasons. And this company outperforms the big box stores. That's due to their month-to-month shopping club. They make everyday consumer products that we all use and buy again and again, like toothpaste, shampoo, coffee, and organic beef. Go to shopwithamerica.us today.
Frozen.
Shopwithamerica.us. Go check them out. Sign up. Great people, great information. Yeah, check them out. Anyways, back to like buying American, man. Our stuff comes in. Most of the stuff you buy in the stores is coming on ships, right?
Right. Cargo.
Don't look at that TV, Leo.
Yeah,
Don't
I
look at
know.
that TV over there.
I was just,
It's I got FAFOs playing around over there. But so everybody's upset right now. You see a lot of conservative tweets screenshotted talking about we didn't vote for World War III. We didn't vote for another war in the Middle East, and they're post-dated screenshots. And they're right. We didn't vote for that. What we did vote for was a president that where a conflict would arise, they'll put an end to it as soon as possible.
right.
And I have that faith in Trump that he's not going to play around. If there's a problem, he's going to give the warning, maybe a second, and then he's going to squash it.
Right.
That's what I think we're
This is-
seeing in Yemen right now.
This is what I voted for. I'm gonna tell you what I voted for. I don't care if you were black, purple, orange, green, whatever. I don't care your color. I don't care nothing. I would have voted for you for you were black. You know, I would have for
Right.
Obama. You know,
Best person.
but I voted for somebody that was gonna step up to the plate, and instead of putting a Band-Aid on it and letting it go through, I wanted somebody that was gonna stitch it up and make sure it was never gonna be ever happen again. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
just no. I voted for somebody that was gonna go there, not feel sorry for somebody, and give them a trophy, even though they didn't try. You know, I voted for somebody that was gonna stand up and be like, "Hey, what's going on here, man?" Not just, you know, and just kind of just open one eye and just kind of just no. Open both your eyes and hey, what's going on here?
Not
That's who I voted for. I didn't vote. I don't care. I'll tell you guys right now. I don't like Trump, but I like the way that he stands up and he tells it. Hey, listen, this is enough, and enough is enough. You know, like there's come to a
Not
point where
doing what all the others have done, just follow dirty politics and just follow a line of lies and theft and stealing from us.
Yeah. But here's Yemen right now. Here's our current conflict. This is Yemen. It's on the Saudi Arabian,
right.
whatever the hell you call it. And this is Africa right here. And this little passage right here, I forget what it's called, but this is the Sea of Aden. And this is the Red Sea to your left. It goes all the way up.
Right.
And it goes through towards Egypt, up through the Suez Canal, I believe. I might have my geography wrong, but this is the area where piracy is at its worst. These Houthi rebels who are backed by Iran are attacking. I think there was 174 attacks on civilian vessels, almost as many attacks on U.S. military vessels. Trump said enough is enough. And you can see Yemen is broke up in different colors, right?
Right.
And I believe this little blue or purple are somewhat not friendly, but they're not for the new leadership. And I believe all this green is like Houthi, controlled by the Houthis. They're like the Hezbollah, the Hamas, the radical Muslims of Yemen and that area. And they're trained and funded by the state of Iran. It's well known. Here's another visual for you. So you see where Yemen is down here in the Gulf of Aden. That's a critical passageway for a lot of Middle Eastern oil goods to and from the Middle East. You know, we're shipping a lot of our exports go through this area to the Mediterranean, you know, Italy, all Greece, all those nations to and from, you know. So Trump said enough's enough. You know, he started hitting these targets in Yemen. And I thought I saw something about an Iranian warship that was sunk, but I couldn't find confirmation of it again. And I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, but I mean, we shouldn't allow that.
No, I agree.
I agree with his move. I mean,
You know, our first, might have this wrong too. Full disclaimer, but I'm pretty sure our first Marines operation was to protect our ships from pirates. And I don't know if you'll get how far back this is. It was, I believe, Thomas Jefferson who ordered the Marines to protect the fleet. And I want to say it was off the coast of Africa or something like that. I could be wrong. You know, if anybody's watching, which it looks like the stream is broken, but you know, chime in. but yeah, so that's what's going on over there. What do I have here?
Yeah, that's crazy though, you know, like
Capital felt like an earthquake. Dozens and dozens of precision heavy munitions dropping precisely on the targets that we wanted to hit, sending a very clear message. And the message is clear to Iran as well. And the president said it in his truth. Your support of the Houthis needs to end immediately. We will hold you accountable as the sponsor of this proxy. And I echo his statement. We will not be nice about it. This is not the Biden administration. The message is clear.
The message is clear. You know, they're not playing around. So hopefully it doesn't escalate. Yemen, those forces in Yemen say they're ready to meet escalation with escalation. But what's that?
Whose ships do those belong to?
What you saw in that graphic there?
Yeah.
Let's pull it back up. Where did he go?
Capital felt like an earthquake. Dozens and dozens of precision heavy munitions dropping precisely on the targets that we want.
So those were attacks on U.S. forces, 180 plus attacks.
But who do those ships belong to?
Us.
And so those ships were attacked.
Yeah, by surface to ground missiles, surface to air missiles, just like stuff provided by Iran.
But what are our ships doing there?
Protecting the shipping lane, vital shipping lane. It's like a vein,
and we're not
big time shipping lane.
Right. We're and like
remember when the boat got stuck?
We're not the only ones that use it.
Remember when the big shipping container got stuck?
Right.
It was north of that in the Suez Canal, and it's like shuts down a whole lot. So
they use it pretty much to like transport stuff.
Yep, cargo, oil.
That's
fucking around with oil is
right
enough to get the global cartel behind a world war. Yeah. Pretty much.
Oil, you're talking billions of dollars. Big industry.
Yeah, so those were just attacks on U.S. forces. Just as many, almost, I believe, on actual cargo and private-owned vessels. So it's a valuable part of the world, you know. I mean, it's a very important shipping lane, just like the Panama Canal. And you saw what Trump was willing to do over that.
Right.
Because the Chinese own all the ports on one end, you know, he doesn't like how they can easily take over the Panama Canal. So
that's crazy. You know, but also if you think about it, it's crazy, but all it takes is just one little meeting and somebody to agree. That's all it takes is just one signature. Hey, you ready? You ready?
Let me see what we
have know here. If I was a president, I'd be like, listen, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because you know what's going to happen next. I'm not going to give you a warning. This is your warning.
Yeah.
You know, either you agree, because there is no disagreeing, because as soon as you disagree with me, like you already know what's next.
I don't know what happened.
You know, like I'm just letting you know you're gonna have to agree. There is no disagreeing with me. You're gonna have to agree.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
It is. We have a lot to protect.
For sure. Like it's just, I'm sorry. Oh, you don't want to? Okay. As soon as I touch my left ear where I got shot, guess what? That means let's go.
Yep. Tear it up.
Yeah, that's
what it is. How I am. I'm not for war at all. I don't want to see innocent people die. But if we have to do something to protect our national, it's all about the people you trust. Hey, do you trust Trump? Do you trust Pete Hegseth?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, we're not muted. Yeah. But yeah, you know, do you trust these people to make the right decisions? And I believe as long as they do the right job, which they'll be evaluated for, you know, end it. Do it quick, end it now. Yeah. I'm not saying drop nuclear bombs. I'm saying take out the target if you can before they do anything. Do it, but
but see the other thing, Mike. If you think about it, the other thing too. Also, I don't have to come to your country, man, to make a plan. If I'm coming to your country, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. I am
Yeah.
not wasting my time, my air time to come talk to you about the problem that's going to be. No,
About the problem that you're causing.
no, no, sir. No,
Right.
sir. Either we change it now, or the next time you're going to see me is when there's going to be a problem.
Right. You already know what you're doing wrong,
And that's when I'll be coming over to you.
and you know what comes with it. So
Right.
there's no need for, like
Right.
you said, there's no need for a meeting.
No need for me to.
Go back to the way it's supposed to be,
That's it.
or I'll
Plain
have
and
to
simple.
force you to.
Right. We are America, man. Like, we should be able to do these things. Like, what happened, man? Like, there's no, like,
To a certain
Well,
extent.
there's
speaking
no
of that, like, so what can a president do?
behind it, you know?
You know, we have three branches of government, right? You have the executive, which is the president. Then you have the legislative, like the board of directors, which is Congress. And then you have the judicial, which is the Supreme Court and the justice system below it. How much do you think a president can really get away with doing? I mean, you can look at it in a company structure, like
It's like
they're tasked to run day-to-day business.
right. It's like a CEO. CEOs can be voted out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I guess for, a president that would be being impeached, but
Sorry.
Which we do
there-
have one.
there's
We have
a lot of
president
things
that's been
that
impeached.
president tries to do that Congress is
Yeah.
going to, they're going to vote it out and block it. And to what extent should a veto go,
Or
Like-
pardons.
or pardons too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much power do you want to give them? Okay, so what I'm getting at here is the Constitution gives the executive branch broad leeway over what to do when it comes to immigration.
Right.
A president can literally shut down the border with an executive order.
Right.
He can be sued. A judge can overstep their bounds and overturn the executive powers that were enacted, which the executive branch has that option, that authority to do day-to-day business, especially when it comes to enforcing the Constitution and protecting the borders. That's
Right.
the job of the
Right.
federal government. And he is the CEO of the federal government. Just like we saw with all these firings and mass layoffs, he's the boss. Like, they're having lawsuit after lawsuit. Judge is saying, you have to put these people back to work, or this and that. And they're just,
They're just delaying it.
yeah. And I think it's funny because they all say, oh, Elon Musk and Doge fired this many people. And it's like, Elon Musk didn't fire anybody. And I sure hope the judge's order says that the people that Elon Musk fired, that have to be reinstated, because I'm sure nowhere on the exit interview is
Right.
Elon Musk's name firing anybody. And besides, there is somebody actually officially over Doge. I don't have her name, but it's not in an official capacity Elon Musk. He's in an advisory role, so it's pretty interesting the way Doge is set up. There'll be a Patriot Prayer podcast coming out, and it's going to be a little mix of all of us. And I believe one of the groups did Doge. I think it was 2 guys, 1 coop. Which I'd like to get them on next week or the week after to talk about the Warrior Shield Foundation, which we'll play a little bit from them here in a little bit. But back to executive powers. So we saw Trump deport, I think it was like 236 Venezuelan illegal immigrants that were associated with the gang. Leo, do you know how to say the name?
What again? Salvador.
It's a TDA. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. TDA. It's what I've
TDA.
heard it called. And it's a gang from Venezuela. These people were in prison and they were literally sent here by the Venezuelan government. Now we know this for sure because it was in a proclamation by the government, who is been overrun by a dictatorship, and it's just very unstable in Venezuela. So Trump and ICE and these law enforcement agencies rounded up these bad guys. Now these are bad people. These aren't grandpa. Well, there probably are grandpas, but you know what? These are just freaking bad people. Let me play. Let's see. They're going to El Salvador. Have you heard about El Salvador?
I have heard of.
It's now the safest country in South America.
Really?
It might even be the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. Let me play this and I'll add you guys to the scene. This was on the Border Patrol's actual page.
This is them arriving
in El Salvador at the prison. Sitka, I think it's called.
This is how the Salvadorians are welcoming.
This is a new prison facility. We're actually paying for them to go there. Because if we send them back to Venezuela, they're just going to come back. They're going to get sent back. Oh, they don't mess around. Now, these people were in prison. Here. So now look at them. Look at the difference. They were able to grow facial hair and all that. Not anymore. Welcome to El Salvador. And now, and like I said, these are not good guys. Here's another video from Matt Gates.
And tonight I have fresh reporting from my sources in El Salvador following the transfer of 238 Tren de Aragua terrorists from the United States to the Central American country. More happened on that plane ride than you've heard. But first, why El Salvador? Well, when you want security, you go to the experts. And El Salvador now has the lowest murder rate in the Western Hemisphere after having previously been the murder capital of the world. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele built a massive prison called Sacat. I've been there, and I can assure you, no one is getting out via escape. If we send Tren de Aragua to Venezuela, there's a good chance they'd be back on our soil. We don't have to worry about that with those who enter the Salvadorian prison, Sacat. So here's my news. My sources have informed me that the Venezuelan terrorists actually tried to take over one of the planes transporting them to Central America. They fought on the planes, they resisted movements, all until they got to the plane's threshold and saw what was waiting for them. When they saw the Salvadorian show of force in San Salvador, the fight just drained right out of them.
It's crazy, right? How would you feel, living life in America, prison, you're guaranteed some certain rights.
Hey,
yeah, they're getting
you
a
are the
decent
land of
meal.
the free. You thought you were free.
I mean,
By the way, you see that
American prison, they've got cigarettes, they've got money that they can use to buy stuff.
You see that?
TV.
If you're watching anywhere other than Rumble, download the Rumble app, follow at the Patriots Prayer. We're going to be doing some exclusive stuff. I think people on the network are going to be doing some exclusive stuff on Rumble, and it's a big push. All your favorite creators are going to Rumble. You should too if you're not already. Make sure you hit the like, the thumbs up, the follow, share the post, repost it, and get in the comments. We definitely appreciate it. But make sure you follow the Patriot Prayer on Rumble and follow on X too, But Rumble is really the last beacon of free speech. But we've seen a lot of creators move over from YouTube, I think starting this month. It'll be interesting. They're bringing a whole lot new audience. So get there and get there soon, because Rumble is actually pushing for creators to do a certain amount of exclusive content, and it's to help those creators. So we're getting on board with that, and we hope to be able to do that. So back to the prison. So have you ever done any time?
No.
Have you ever done any time, Vince?
No, thank God.
No. Ever been on a tour at the local jail and school or anything like that?
Yeah, I've done that.
It's not a pretty place.
No,
but going from an American prison to now this, you thought Supermax here was bad, or solitary confinement here was bad. Here was an interview. Where is it? Let's throw this one out there.
Welcome to the isolation cell. If an inmate misbehaves, this is where he ends up. He won't know the time or how much longer he'll be kept inside. For days or even weeks, he sleeps on this concrete bed without ever leaving. They are cut off from the outside world, left alone with nothing but their thoughts.
This is where they supply their water There's a water basin here. They take their water here, and this is where they pee.
The basin for drinking water and the toilets are located side by side. The toilet looks recently used and dirty, suggesting that this cell has recently been used. The only light they have is this little hole that barely lets the sunshine in. This openness is also the sole source of fresh air.
What is the most challenging thing about isolation room, according to you?
Inside, you don't even see your hands. So when someone is isolated, it is necessary for them to have something, a book, anything, to keep their mind clear. But here, they don't have access to any of that. No matter how tough a criminal is, this kind of isolation.
This reminds me of, I'll tell you, have you been to St. Augustine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just came from St. Augustine. Have you ever done the tour at the oldest jail from Sheriff Perry's jail? This reminds me a lot of that, like that. You know, there's no toilet. You gotta pick which you find out the first night which side of the room to sleep on.
Oh yeah.
Isolation breaks them. This is necessary for the type of offenders that we have here. People who once played God by deciding who would live and who wouldn't live deserve the worst punishment. We don't show them mercy. They can ask for forgiveness, and may God forgive them. But here, justice must be served for so many victims, and it's the least they deserve.
Finally, we see the sunlight. Honestly, Sekat is a place you would never wish to end up in, even as a visitor. But for the people who victimized Salvadorans, it is now their forever home. These criminals took the innocent people's right to live, and now they're paying for it. The Salvadorian government's message is clear. Crime is no longer tolerated, and the punishment is severe.
El Salvador once had the highest rate of lives lost due to widespread chaos. During its peak, 104 out of every 100,000 people lost their lives in a single year. Previous administrations agreed to a truce with these groups, but this couldn't bring lasting order. Although the current government's methods are controversial, by 2023, the number dramatically dropped to 2.4 per 100,000 people, placing El Salvador among the safest countries in the world for the first time.
I mean, it worked.
Hey, he wasn't putting up with no bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it worked,
None.
but it's a little
None. Don't fuck around, because
What
you're
is
gonna
it?
find out.
Hey, listen, I got 99 problems,
Yeah.
and this cartel people weren't gonna be one of them.
This is from
That's
the
for
president
sure.
there
crazy.
in El Salvador. He said, today, the first 238 members of the Venezuelan criminal organization Tren de Aragua arrived in our country. They were immediately transferred to CCOT, the Terrorism Confinement Center, for a period of 1 year, which is renewable. The United States will pay a very low fee for them, but a high one for us. Over time, these actions, combined with the production already being generated by more than 40,000 inmates engaged in various workshops and labor under the Zero Idleness program, will help make our prison system self-sustainable. As of today, it costs $200 million per year. That's their whole prison system, I guess, or this prison itself. And it's like they take care of themselves. You know, it's not, they're not relied on government subsidies and food and stuff like that.
right.
On this occasion, the U.S. has also sent us 23 MS-13 members wanted by Salvadorian justice, including 2 ringleaders. One of them is a member of the criminal organization's highest structure. Now, that's a Mexican gang, isn't it? This will help us finalize intelligence gathering and go after the last remnants of MS-13, including its former and new members, money, weapons, drugs, hideouts, collaborators, and sponsors. As always, we continue advancing in the fight against organized crime, but this time we are also helping our allies, making our prison system self-sustainable and obtaining vital intelligence to make our country whatever. Yeah, so I mean, it kind of sounds like we just sent them off to a prison camp, you know,
Right.
but do you care? Like, these are people who are in jail for murder.
Right.
Like, these are bad hombres, you know. Oh, damn, I cannot clear my throat. So that's the question. Do you care?
No. If it happened to me, I wouldn't want to go there. But
What
I'm
about
also-
the people
I'm
that are
also not a
from
murderer
Venezuela?
in a gang. I'm also not, killing people.
What about the people that aren't from Venezuela
What do you mean? So
that are now residents of Venezuela, but they're in CCOT or whatever it's called? How do you feel about that? Like, I'm pretty sure those MS-13 gang members, they were probably kind of similar to like terrorists to them, but I'm pretty sure they're not Venezuelan, but they're wanted by Salvadorian. You know, they're wanted by their justice system. Damn.
Jeez, you all right, Mike?
Yeah. We've been fighting this respiratory thing off for a while. But anyways, so that's it's pretty interesting, you know, in that a judge had ruled Trump couldn't do it. And when he ordered them to return the prisoners back to America, this plane was already in the air. It was already over international waters. And they were like, oh, sorry, they're no longer here. We can't just return them. They're in another country now. You know, it's like, so this judge was also known for, his wife is a leftist activist paid by, I think, the Clinton Foundation or worked for the Obamas or something like that. He was appointed by Obama. He was involved in the fake FISA warrants. He authorized the Carter Page wiretapping, the whole Russia collusion thing. This judge, who also ruled that, who's trying to block executive power, who wasn't elected by anybody, he was appointed, is trying to block the president. And the president is going after him. He wants the judge impeached. Chief Justice Roberts really isn't playing into it, but the president is calling corruption, you know, and he should. The president won a mandate. He won the majority of counties. I forget the numbers, but he won the popular vote. He won all the swing states. We voted for this.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So it'll be interesting. I thought I had.
Yeah, we voted.
Thought I had something.
We voted for this.
No.
We voted for change. You know, it wasn't. You know, people were tired of what they were seeing from the Biden administration, and they just wanted to see somebody with a strong hand that's not going to let us be a pushover anymore.
Yeah.
The Salvadorian president is a young president, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can look him up real quick. You want to see who it is?
Yeah.
Forget what his name was. El Salvador.
He's not playing no bullshit.
Let me share my screen with us here.
He is literally not playing around.
That's a pretty impressive turnaround, though, going from pretty much the worst country as far as murder to like the best. You know, what he did worked. Ain't no doubt about that.
Who?
Yeah, because
the El Salvador president, though, you know, building the prison, all
that. Because he didn't want to be known for that, man.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him? I don't want my country to be known for this. I'm going to fix this problem. If I can fix the problem, I'm going to fix the problem.
It's a little extreme, but give the man credit. It fucking
a little.
I think if you were living there and you're an honest person living there, you're grateful that he did what he did and turned it around.
For sure.
I mean,
so born July 24th, 1981, is a Salvadorian politician and businessman who has been the 81st and current president of El Salvador since June 1st, 2019.
So he's like 44 or something like that.
81st?
Yeah. And
they go through some presidents, huh?
Well, I don't know how old El Salvador is. We can look at that too. But Bukele established, there's a lot of coups that go on there. Like sometimes you might have 3 in the same year.
Right.
But
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Bukele established an advertising company in 1999 and worked at an advertising company owned by his father. Yeah, this goes into it. He come from money probably, but he ain't fucking around. You know, he wants to make El Salvador good for El Salvador, like you said.
How old is he?
Like 44, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Tell you, yeah.
He was born in
43.
81.
43.
He was like 43 or something like that. El Salvador, I don't know.
El Salvador.
How do you say it?
El Salvador.
Yeah.
Mike said, yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can say that.
That's what they call whites down there?
No.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Mestizo is a person of mixed, particularly Spanish and indigenous American ancestry in the former Spanish Empire. In certain regions, such as Latin America, it may also refer to
mestizo,
mixed white and indigenous.
Mestizo.
So even the Europeans,
mestizo, like mestizo, like whenever I hear the word mestizo, meaning something is just kind of like toasted a little bit.
So they got their
seriously, Vince.
So
like me, I guess I would be mestizo.
You're a little toasted.
Crazy, huh?
They got their independence from Spain in 21. Then they declared their independence from the first Mexican Empire in 1823. Declared their independence from the Federal Republic of Central America in 1841. And then again, they got their international recognition in 1841. So they're coming up on, 170 something years, 180 years.
Yeah.
A lot of history down there. You don't hear about all that kind of stuff.
Don't.
You only hear about the important stuff like Israel and stuff like that. Important to who? What is that? Why is it doing that? There we go.
There he is.
Yeah, our studio is kind of twisted. We're new branding and new upgrades with StreamYard. So I'm going to play an ad from Warrior Shield Foundation, which is coming up in September 5th, 6th, and 7th, I believe. Next week or the week after, I'm going to get Dale and Jim on, and they'll tell us a little better. But I have some media here I'd like to play. This one's a long one, but it's featuring Warrior Weekend. It's 3.5 minutes long, and I'll get probably 30 copyright flags from it, but it'll be okay. So check this out.
Yeah, I know. I always see it.
Warrior Weekend from Warrior Shield Foundation. Coming right at you.
The Warrior Shield Foundation proudly presents Warrior Weekend, a 3-day event from September 5th through September 7th at the Rosen Center in beautiful Orlando, Florida, which honors and supports the Corporal Chad Eric Oligschlager Foundation for PTSD, raising awareness and resources for its vital mission to help our most valuable heroes, our veterans. This powerful weekend will feature live performances by country music recording artist Ryan Weaver.
It's a long way to home, but you won't take the hard road all alone.
American Idol runner-up Bo Bice.
Tired of looking down roads, wondering what I gotta do, who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than free.
Christian contemporary and country artist Natasha Owens.
God and country strong, give me a cowboy who knows left from right from wrong.
Florida native and national recording artist Sean Holcomb.
You just watch your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. There's goodness every mile if you need.
In addition to all of the musical artists performing at the event, meet John Tig Tigan and Dave Boone Benton. Two true American heroes who stood their ground and defeated armed terrorists on September 11th, 2012 in Benghazi, Libya. Not only can you meet Tig and Boone, but you can spend the day at the range, shooting and learning from the best of the best. Another hero that you will not want to miss is Colonel Gregory Gadsden, an American actor and motivational speaker, and a retired colonel and former commander in the United States Army. Colonel Gadsden is also a bilateral, above-the-knee amputee who served in the Army for 25 years of active duty as a field artillery officer. Nowhere else will you be able to meet this all-star lineup while supporting our veterans and first responders. This is an event of a lifetime, and one you do not want to miss. Get your tickets now, online, at warriorshield.org, and support those who fought and sacrificed so much for all of us.
I'm like, oh, well, welcome back. Yeah, anyways. Huge shout out to the network, Patriot Prayer Network, and definitely, before I move on to that, Warrior Shield Foundation, they do great work. They're supporting Corporal Chad. Oh, I can't say the last name. I'm pretty sure that's who they're supporting this year. And every year it's a different organization, and they only support organizations that do they only support organizations that meet a certain criteria. They got to take care of first responders and veterans and stuff like that. So it goes to good money. They make sure it goes to the right places, and they help lift up other charities that do that. So check them out, Warrior Shield Foundation. Big shout out to the network, Patriot Prayer Network, Eddie and Steve and Maurice, LA native, and Steve Loves Ammo on X. They landed an interview with Tom MacDonald, and I thought that was pretty cool. That in the MAGA movement, he's pretty loved, which is kind of weird because he's like your anti-conservative stereotype, but in the MAGA movement, not so much. The tattoos don't really scare off anybody. Everybody's got them now. He might have a few extra, but it's not about looks or something like that. It's like a new age American patriot, but they did
what you stand for. It's about what you speak, what you stand for, and who you are.
So here's
what you look like.
And here's a little bit. I kind of cut it up a little bit, and because I want you to go watch the full interview with Tom MacDonald and these guys. Here's a little clip of some breaking news he gave the guys.
Putting you on the spot by asking, well, when are we going to see those wedding photos with you in Nova?
This year,
guys. There it is. I said,
dude, I have the most. I can't get too deep into it, but I have the most incredible plan for the official proposal. Best friends for 17 years. So, this is my person. I love this person. This person loves me. This person makes me better. I'm never going to be able to find another person that loves me the way that this person loves me and that I love them, vice versa. When all of those what ifs and questions have been answered, for us, I think it took a little bit of the urgency off of getting married. Like, we already knew we're going to be together forever and we're going to get married. So let's just take care of it when we have the time to take care of it. And when you're working 20 hours a day running an independent music business that exists outside the music industry's ecosystem, it doesn't leave very many hours in the day to do other things, but it is a priority. But we just never rushed for the altar in the last few years because we were just like, let's establish ourselves, let's establish our business, let's set ourselves up, insulated from Hollywood, insulated from the music industry. Let's get our financial feet underneath us, and then let's build a family and get married and do all that stuff. And it just never seemed urgent because we were just so sure of one another.
So let me pull this up here. Right? Hold on. Yeah, he's kind of like...
he's 36 years old. He's younger than me.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
PPN also landed a channel with me.
This is but you've probably heard his music. Yeah, you probably heard his music. He's going up against some big labels. He's an independent musician, and he does some pretty good stuff. It's
these British,
let me see if I can
Canadian.
YouTube wants to throw ads in there. I'll pull it.
Might get flagged for this, Mike.
Maybe.
I'm putting you on the spot.
That's not the one.
The way we're treated ain't been fair. Fake news on every TV. 4 years we've been in this nightmare. Why they killed American dreams. We can't afford God's here. Ran food and gasoline. Colors don't run, and the only one who runs.
Goodbye,
But he
Joe.
don't tread on me.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
I won't forget the ones who died for our freedom, and I ain't gonna hand it
Got a few
back.
tattoos.
No.
Right.
If
Yeah.
liberty and justice ain't
His life.
enough to
Yeah.
believe in,
His heart.
get
He
out
likes
of
it.
here
Whatever.
and don't look back.
Well, you kind of hit on this.
It symbolizes what he likes.
You kind of hit on this. Let me all these things.
Yeah, right there. Pause it.
Yeah, I can't. That's weird. But like you nailed it. COVID changed a lot of people, and we saw a lot of these independent artists come out that were gonna be squashed, who couldn't do performances, who saw, the freedom of speech
Their livelihood.
get nabbed, so it's like it made a lot of people bust out of their show. A lot of TikTok artists, Facebook.
But see, let's go back to that,
people
Mike,
who
you're right.
and they're putting everything they've got into it. They don't have big money behind them.
No.
And that's Rockefeller with him, and that's who he's talking about. They're going to be married. They're going to be getting married this year. So
Right.
it's pretty cool if you follow them, and like Adam Calhoun. So I don't know if they're with that Up Church. Up Church seems to be, I don't know,
Right.
creates drama with all those guys, but I don't really follow them all. But I do like Adam Calhoun and Tom MacDonald. So check out the full interview with the Patriot Prayer Network.
But you know what though?
What?
COVID was all set up because everything lined up. Everything fell into place the way that it was supposed to, very quickly and very fast. So to me, there was already a plan. There was just not a plan in motion until, or you know what? There was a plan in motion, and the plan was as soon as we hit this pandemic, we're going to make the plan go in motion. You see what I'm saying? Like there was already like all this, like all these ordering apps and stuff like that. Like it just moves so quickly. Like, oh, you could order through here now. Oh, you could order through this now. Oh, you could do this now. Oh, you could do that now. Oh, you could do this. You can do that. You can do
Curbside
like,
this. And
like we don't have to come in
same
contact
day
with anything.
delivery that.
And it's like, how did we move so fast within 6 months? How was all this created?
And some of it's still
it was a social experiment, and we took the bait like rats.
Right, and some of it's still very right there. Like the
I'm not
curbside
saying
pickup. That's
right.
a huge thing now. Everybody,
I love it.
I'm not saying. Right, I was going to say I'm not.
I
saying
don't really
I
use it, but I could see. I mean, I use it sometimes at a restaurant. And
I
stuff,
don't,
guess,
but my wife does because it's easy for her to grab stuff on her way home from work.
Right.
It'll be ready. She stops at Target.
Right.
Done.
I'm not saying right. I'm not saying I don't use it. Yeah, I do use it because it's convenient, and I hate talking to people. I just hate.
Well, it's also what's good about it is where you could say that Elisa will choke, but we're minimalist. Like we don't need a whole lot, and when we go in there,
you buy more than you needed.
Right?
No, yeah,
right.
We don't need all that.
Right.
Yeah, so
there's
it's
certain
good.
things
You put the order in for the
right.
exactly what you need to get by, and that's it.
For me, I like it for like your household goods and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to like my food, I like to pick out my food. Like I do like to shop for my food in person.
But
like, I want to pick out the steak I like.
But if you sign up and subscribe to Shop for America,
well, Shop for America, it's American made. And it's organic stuff.
Shipped
So
straight
check them
to your
out.
home too.
Yeah, definitely. What do we got here? Rockefeller. I'd rather rock a woman. When you're right.
Talking about
when you're right, you're right. It's a cool couple. I mean, I don't know how conservative they are, but whatever. I was just looking at the news headlines. Federal judge blocks President Donald Trump's executive order banning transgender people from military service. So here's another federal judge overstepping executive authority, which commander-in-chief, he's the top dog over military. Like, where does a judge feel they step into this?
See, I don't think a single judge should have the right to do that. I'm sorry, the president was voted in, and he's higher up than you.
Right. Nobody's constitutional rights are being violated or restricted. Like you can't be here if you're mentally ill.
I mean, one judge should not be able to just say I'm going to overrule the president.
Yeah, you hear my dog in there? He's going crazy.
Yeah.
Another big deal today in Twinks for the troops. Yeah, right. Astronauts came home today. Well, they were up there for 9 months. It was actually a learning moment for my daughters because they were watching. They saw them bobbing in the ocean after they landed, and they were asking about it and what the big deal was. And they came from the space station, not outer space. That's a different podcast. But they were up there. They could have came home sooner, but they weren't because politics got involved. They didn't, something happened with the way they got there. They couldn't get them back. But SpaceX could, but Joe Biden wouldn't let them, so now they had to go forward with the plan now that Joe Biden's not there. So I don't know how much truth there was to that, but
I remember hearing
astronaut, they're home now. It was a big deal. Yeah. It was a big deal that they're home 9 months, at the space station. That was Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams have been stuck in space for 9 months.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That's just crazy, man.
I heard that.
Here's another headline from 3:30 this afternoon. A federal judge rules the dismantling of USAID likely violated the Constitution and blocks Elon Musk's Doge from further cuts. It's funny because it's not Elon Musk's Doge, and there's video going all over Twitter right now of Obama calling out the same stuff. What was it, 12 years ago?
Yeah, just rephrase. Just
that's
in a nice
that's like
way.
I remember watching a video not that long ago where Hillary was talking about border control, saying the same stuff that Trump's doing, shutting down the border. Unless you come here legally, you can't come here. Saying all the same stuff right now that the right's pushing was coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it doesn't meet the narrative that they're supposed to be pushing, that they're being paid to push.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy world up there. I mean, like COVID turned everything upside down. It exposed a lot. It also showed to the people that woke up, it exposed the people who didn't. So when you see that person in their car with their mask on, they never woke up.
Yeah, like what's up with that? I mean, who knows? Some people do have medical issues or whatever, but some just, they just still got, how people say, oh, he got stuck in the 80s, he got stuck in the 90s. Well, these people got stuck in the
stuck in COVID.
Stuck in the 2000s.
They're the same people though that'll smoke a cigarette with the windows up.
Right.
You still see them people around. I'm kind of crazy. I used to smoke. Full disclaimer, probably smoked for 25 years, if not longer.
Well,
probably longer.
Remember there was a video.
Now I see people smoking. I'm like, oh my God, people still do that. Like,
right?
Why do you do that?
There was a video I remember seeing during COVID, somebody taking their mask because their dog took a shit. They picked it up, threw it in the trash can, and then put the mask
back on. Might as well.
Like, what the?
Do you smoke cigs? Get off of those damn things, man. Smoke weed or something.
Yeah, there's so much
Get
better
off
stuff
cigarettes.
to get THC in your system, man.
Well, okay, and weed, but get off the cigarettes. Smoke more weed. Replace the cigarettes with weed.
At least get on the vape.
I don't know, whatever. But the cigarettes, nothing liberated me more. I've been off the cigarettes now. My middle daughter will be 10 in a couple months, so it's been almost 10 years. It's probably been 10 years.
That's good.
Wow, since I smoked a cigarette. And I wanted to go back. I don't drink either. I wanted to go back. Like, there's been times where I was like, oh yeah, that cigarette would be pretty good, and I can sneak one, no problem. Cold turkey. And I'll tell you why. But then I thought to myself, all that time I spent stressing about quitting up till I quit would have just been wasted time off my life, because all that stress is waste off your life. That whole time I struggled with the thought of quitting. I didn't want that to be for nothing. Right. Not to mention all those days in between I went without smoking since. That would have just been for nothing. It could have been like Hunter Biden's life was for nothing. I had to do it cold turkey, and I tried. I thought about it for years and years and years. I tried in the past. One time when I was super young, I quit for a few months. I think it was a few months. I don't know.
I remember.
But the more I thought about it, the more I smoked.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember you trying to use you were trying to use chewing tobacco to get off cigarettes.
I didn't do chewing tobacco, but it was Copenhagen. The problem is it just replaced it.
Right.
You know,
the next thing you were dipping and smoking.
Right. Right. Well, I was dipping and smoking, and then I was just like dipping and dipping. It's just like all day. I can go to sleep with a dip.
Dipping when you couldn't have a cigarette, and then when you were outside, you could have a cigarette.
And it wasn't just these little pansy ass bandits. I had a mouth full of Copenhagen. You know, like no problem. Don't get me thinking about that shit, by the way.
Right.
But I quit too, because just the thought of, you know, I've got a bad mouth already, and the thought of the rot and cancer, you're pretty much guaranteed, you know. So it was like, I got to be around. I got to be around for my kids. Nicotine, man. I haven't had nicotine though in quite some time.
But it's caffeine,
terpenes and stuff like that. Yeah. But no nicotine, and I barely drink. I have a beer or two now and then, but I still, you know, I need to do better for myself. None of these guys smoke either, right?
Yeah, not cigarettes.
No. Have you ever smoked cigarettes, Vince?
Yes, when I was younger.
For how long? Were you like a regular, or were you just like
regular for a few,
go out drinking?
No, regular for a few years, and then I mean, started off just drinking, but then regular for a few years, and I want to say it's been probably about 20 years now for me.
I've never smoked.
Never smoked?
No.
Never smoked cigarettes?
Never smoked.
Never even had one, or?
No, I don't like the smell of cigarettes.
Me neither.
Well, I can't stand it anymore ever since I quit.
Surprisingly, my parents, you know, I grew up around it. My parents, my grandparents, they all smoked. My parents both quit. My mother, she's a lung cancer survivor. My mother-in-law,
she quit a long time ago.
Yeah, my mother-in-law wasn't so lucky. So it's, you know, my father-in-law, COPD got him. So it, you know, you see it around you, and you wish you could have woken up to that a lot sooner. I do get the struggle though.
Sure.
I get the struggle. If it wasn't for my daughter and my son at the time, it was just at the time when my son was 2, and he'd see us step outside, and through the sliding glass door, he'd see us out there smoking, and he would start. The first time I saw him do this, and Elisa was like 2 months pregnant, it was like, we're done.
That was it.
We're done. Because I didn't want them to grow up doing it too. Because that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
My brother smoked, who's 8 years older than me. My grandmother smoked, who was okay with giving me cigarettes. My parents both smoked. It was all around. And I could go down to the store and buy them at 12 years old.
Yeah,
so it was like, come on, man.
It's crazy.
Don't tell my kids all
that. I'm sure they'll see this episode 110 one day.
Well, it's out there. That's why we do this. You know, it's out there. So
because we are the news. At the end of the day, we are the news. Like we are. There is no scripture. There is no nothing. Like
scripture. No script.
No script.
No, we're not the news, but we're gonna give you. We commentate. We talk about the news. So
the lies they say.
But anyways, we're pushing an hour. Sorry about the first 5 minutes. If you tuned in, I'm glad you're here. We had some technical difficulties, but we got them squared away, and I think it was a good show. So make sure you check out the Patriot Prayer Network on Rumble and on X, wherever you're following, wherever you watch. Give us a like and a thumbs up and a share. But be sure, download that Rumble app. It's free. It's going to come a long way. It's not just for gamers. It's not just for conservatives. You can find almost all the content there that you watch on YouTube and some of the other places, and Twitch and Kick and all that. But a lot of people are moving over to Rumble. So download the app, and even if you don't use it, follow those creators, because like I said, a lot of them are moving, and you never know. If you're watching us on YouTube, which I doubt it, we probably won't be streaming to YouTube any longer, and we like to keep our audience with X, but we'd also like to encourage our audience on X to download that app and follow us over there also. And you know, even if you still watch us on X, Rumble counts. It's the next free and last beacon of free speech that we can look forward to. So, you know, help us out and check out the network. Check out shopwithamerica.us and thewarriorshield.org. Get your tickets for Warrior Shield weekend coming up in September on the 5th, 6th, and 7th. The first night you saw, if you saw the video, they got some great artists, and you know, if you're into the dining and the auction and all that, Saturday's your day. You know, if you want to go gator hunting or out to the range, you want to pay for that. It's all extra though. Check them out though. It's pretty cool. It's in Orlando, Florida, not far from home for us. So we're hoping to be up there with Dale and Jim from Two Guys in One Coop. And check that out. I would like to do a call-in line. If you want to be on air, I can always send you a link. You don't have to add your camera. You can keep your camera off, but I you know, don't get me down another rabbit hole, because I know some guys are using Discord for call-in. So that might be something we look at one day. So we appreciate you, and thanks for tuning in. You guys got anything else before we go?
No, I think I'm pretty good. How about you guys?
Good. Next week we'll be back. I don't know if it'll be all of us. I'm hoping to get us a couple interviews with some guys in the free speech world, in fluoride free movement. So there's a couple of guys out there. I don't want to throw their names out there yet because I haven't really talked to them, but I know they're willing to come out and tell their story. So look forward to that. And other than that, check us out at anyriverconnections.com, where you can find our other productions and branded podcast. And we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.
Yep, for sure.
Welcome to the Patriots Prayer Network. Here, we don't just play to your feelings. We're rooted in honesty, and our foundation is based on Christian values, conservative beliefs, and a no-holds-barred approach. So, if your feelings clash with reality, it's not reality that needs adjusting. Are you ready to be part of a movement that challenges the official narratives, confronts the overwhelming tide of misinformation, and calls out wrongdoing wherever we find it? If so, you're in the right place. See, truth is our compass, and God is our only judge. Right and wrong mean more to us here at the Patriots Prayer Network than right and left do, and a complacent blind acceptance of the status quo will not be found here. We do not believe things are this bad in our country merely by accident. So, we investigate and dive deep into each episode and tackle pressing issues head on. Many podcasts claim they're unfiltered, but we mean it here. Go to thepatriotsprayernetwork.com.